Hello, welcome to the Animation Factory. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the whole process of recruiting actors. Now, this process is actually very simple. Yet some people may actually find difficulty depending on who you are. So I'm going to give you the main advice and I'm going to tell you why. Um, when when you are recruiting actors, you may be faced with a lot of challenges. For example, let's say you have low budgets. You don't have the budgets to recruit people who you can pay expensively. And this is actually something that plagues a lot of filmmakers, is that they tend to find anybody who can do it almost for free. Now, there's a problem with that, and I'm going to tell you why. There is something that is called the law of diminishing value. Now, according to the law of diminishing value, essentially, this is what it talks about. That there's a certain point whereby an increase in value does not constitute an increase. An increase in price doesn't constitute an increase in value. Essentially, the summary of it is that a $200 Android phone versus a $1,000 iPhone, the difference between the two may actually be very small. Its difference might not be equivalent to the difference. The difference in value might not be equivalent to the difference in between their prices. An Android phone of $200 may have, let's say, I've given an example in a similar video. Let's say the best phone in the whole wide world has 100 units or 100 points, but you may find that an iPhone perhaps has 90 points, and then a $200 Android phone might have 85 points, but that 5 points difference in terms of value, in terms of how good the phone is, may constitute to an $800 difference in price. Now, using the same principle, if we go to reverse, the difference between an actor that works for you for free and the difference between an actor or actress that works for you for, let's say, $100 is very big, very big in terms of quality and how much they produce. But when it reaches a point where the difference between an actor that you pay, let's say, $1,000 and an actor that you pay $10,000 might not be that big. But when it comes here to working for free and paying at least $100, the difference becomes very huge, which is why I recommend that if you are producing an animation and if you really want to create a very good animation, I know there's some actors who are very good and work for you for free, but the act of actually giving them money gives them this sense of extra motivation. This is how the brain works. If an actor works for you for free, you may find it hard for most actors to actually, ask them to push themselves even further. Maybe you are working as a director and they're not delivering the way you wanted your vision to be delivered. It's going to be very hard for you to ask them to push even further. Yes, they may, but they lack that motivation. And the reason why they lack motivation, because this is how the brain works. The brain works, it is always searching for reward. That's what the brain is always doing, which is why it's very hard for some people, to go on a diet, because this is how the brain works. Okay, you want me to go on a diet. You want me to stop eating these sugary foods. What are you going to give me in exchange? Nothing. So the brain is always going to be pushing you towards, going back to those sugary foods, and that is why it's very hard for people to go on a diet. The same case even for going on exercising for people who want to lose weight. The brain is like, you want me to go to do these exercises which are tough and painful. What are you giving me? That is going to substitute that is going to make this pain worth it. And that is the reason why I urge you out there to make sure that you pay your actors and actresses. If you pay them, they're going to deliver. And now, when I say pay, it doesn't mean that you just go and take your sister and pay them. Of course, if you take your sister and you pay them, they'll work harder than if you had asked them for free. But you should take somebody who already knows how to do the acting, whether it is voice acting or, real acting. You should find somebody who's already talented, somebody who is capable, somebody who has a drive, and then you pay them. Now, that is actually the first most important thing, is that you should avoid as much as possible to have people working for you for free. Yes, you should pay them. And the second thing that you want to do, or you want to go for when recruiting actors, is finding actors who are compatible with you. When I say compatible with you, I'm talking compatibility in terms of personality. If you are the kind of director that is always shouting, you have anger management issues, can that actor work with you? Can they be able to tolerate how you're shouting? If you're a director that is always quiet, can that actor still produce high quality work or acting without having to be pushed? That is what I'm talking about when I say in terms of compatibility. So you should find actors who are compatible with you. For example, I am very versatile. At times I can be very, very, very angry. At times I can also be very calm. But at my initial state, I'm usually calm. And I usually prefer actors who can be able to produce high amount of, work or value without having to be pushed. I like it that way because I personally don't like to go around and then start shouting at people. It's not something that I enjoy. So having actors who are always going to push themselves. The only thing that I have to do is motivate them. If they're going to push themselves, then that is the kind of actors or actresses that I want to work with. And that is actually my main let's say secret. It's not a secret, but it's actually the way I work. And later on in the vlogs of this course, I'm going to be showing you psychological techniques on how to work with actors, because this is all about recruiting actors. But I'm going to show you techniques on how to work with them and making sure that they can be able to produce exactly how you want them to produce. They can be able to do your vision, reach on to your vision, ways to make them feel at home, and all those stuff. I'm going to be talking about them. They're very in-depth, and I just cannot put them in a short video. And the main purpose for these courses, this part here of the tutorials, is that you should have the most important knowledge that is required for you to do that thing. And then later on, you can start learning the in-depth. So here you're going to learn the most important thing in recruiting actors. And it actually comes down to two things. Number one, pay them. Avoid people who will work for you for free. Number two, compatibility. Find people who can be compatible with you. If you're somebody who loves shouting and shouting is your way of directing, find people who need to be shouted at so that they can produce high quality content. And by doing that, that means you can enjoy your shouting, knowing that those people will also produce high quality content, and they won't hate you at the end of the day. If they hate you, then they should hate you as a good thing, not hate you as a bad thing. I hope I'm understood when I say that. There's this thing that like back in school, you'd hate the teacher for doing some certain things, but you'll be glad. So that is hating the teacher, but hating them in a good way. You just hate them because you're lazy. But at the end of the day, you appreciate what they're doing. So those are the most important things when it comes to recruiting actors. So I see you in the next video. Welcome to the Animation Factory.